I grew up in Teesside. My father worked at British Steel up till the 80s. You couldn't get any further away from life in the countryside. Like many others, my childhood was a mixture of football and nature. The steelworks were shut down, thousands were made redundant, and we moved to Suffolk. I was 15, and although at the time I didn't really appreciate just what this move meant, it was an upheaval, a life-changing move, and it started an apprenticeship with ferreting. If I'm brutally honest, I'm never going to finish. When I started, I made mistakes. I corrected them and learnt habits that become instinctive through the experiences gained not from hours and days, but years and decades on a rabbit warren. To me, it was very similar to when I learnt to drive a car. At first, I started to worry about changing gears and stalling on my hill starts until I actually passed my test. Then the hours of driving about gave me experience. Experience then taught me everything. It became instinctive, natural, easier. My ferreting is no different. For those that don't know what ferreting is, just let me explain. In the United Kingdom, ferreting is a traditional craft of hunting with ferrets to manage the rabbit population, but in an environmentally and organic manner. It is timeless, it doesn't discriminate against those that practice it, and is enjoyed by the young and old alike. In the modern world though, we often get asked, why do we need to control rabbits? Well, in the United Kingdom we have an estimated 40 million rabbits, and each year they can cause up to and beyond £150 million worth of damage. This is caused to agriculture, horticulture, the construction industry, and let not forget the emotional distress caused when they get into your property and damage your garden. It can be simple and practiced with the bare minimum of equipment for sport, or on a more industrial scale for professional rabbit management. We carry the working ferrets around in boxes. Each one is fitted with a ferret finder so we know exactly where they are. We harvest the rabbits using purse and long nets. The purse net is a net that is laid over each individual hole, whereas the long nets are dropped away or in between the warrens to catch or prevent escape. This is traditionally practiced in the months between September and March, when the undergrowth is at its lowest and the warrens are accessible. We enter the ferrets into the warrens and their prey drive kicks in. The ferret then thoroughly works the warren using every neuron to locate the resident rabbits. The rabbit then bolts at the sight and smell of the ferret into the waiting nets. These rabbits are then humanely dispatched by the ferreter. The harvested rabbit is then no longer a rabbit, but a valuable source of food. If you didn't know, rabbit is one of the most nutritious of game meats we have in this country. This is mainly down to its free-range lifestyle. The rabbit does what it wants, when it wants and how it wants, and this is all transferred through into its meat. Using ferrets to manage rabbits ensures that our environment isn't tainted with indiscriminate poisons or toxins. And as every rabbit harvested is used for food, the often cited moral dilemma of taking an animal's life is answered as nothing is wasted. The provenance of ferreted rabbit is unquestionable. For me, my ferreting started when I was a boy. The world was a different place then. There was no internet, no mobile phones. Instead we sent telegrams, we had big red phone boxes and wrote letters. The art of conversation was still strong, yet we travelled little. I had a pungent nicotine albino hob ferret. I carried this around in a ferret box the size of a coffin, weighing as much as a bag of dog food, all on my push bike. I ferreted at a local dairy farm. Caught little, yet such was my passion and drive for ferreting, I quickly realised I was a little bit different. I looked at my mistakes intensely, held post-mortems and took my time in correcting them, and over time my pastime became my profession. But it is still my childhood passion. As ferreting and rabbiting has a tribal following, as such we have a culture many simply do not understand. Back in the day when many doubted me, I always said that education was the key. History has taught us that this is more important now than ever before. What we've got to do is educate the wider world to our world. We found ourselves in a time, a world, where technology has stripped the core elements of fieldcraft away. Impatience is rife, but patience is essential if you are to become successful. Everyone has become fast reliant on fast downloads, 4G technology and instant success. But to me, Mother Nature is unpredictable. The fine unscripted drama that simply cannot be hurried. This is why I think ferreting has survived the 21st century, as its simplicity is its core strength. The quiet, stealthy approach using nature to restore the balance of nature, whilst its byproduct is an organic, nutritious meat for the table. But the taking of an animal's life presents a moral dilemma, but this answers all of them. Nothing is wasted, nothing is destroyed or forced to experience indiscriminate poisons or toxins, so therefore the ferreter, in my eyes, is a hunter-gatherer par excellence. One that is part of nature, one that is an integral part of our world. These hunter-gatherer skills that the ferreter employs may to many appear primitive, but these are the skills that have ensured that our nation has survived wars, strikes and recessions, all thanks to the wild rabbit. Ferreting has taught me many life skills, being responsible for my animals, the respect I have for the living countryside, its inhabitants and all those that enjoy it. It has given me friendships and a life that would be poorer if it wasn't for my ferreting.
Who am I? I am Simon Whitehead, and this is my ferreting.